Liam was only 16 when he first stepped on the alien planet called Zakera. It was a dangerous world, filled with poison fog, wild storms, and creatures that watched from the shadows. But Liam was not there for war. He was part of a peace team, just a helper boy carrying supplies and translating messages. He didn't expect adventure, and he didn't expect danger. But fate had other plans for him. One night, the camp was attacked. Sirens screamed, the sky turned red, and people ran in every direction. Liam grabbed his backpack and ran into the nearby hills. He didn't know where he was going. He only wanted to survive. He ran until his legs burned and his chest ached. The fog grew thicker, and strange sounds echoed around him. Then, he saw something, a cave, hidden between two sharp rocks. It looked abandoned, dark and cold. But he had no choice. He crawled inside and waited. Hours passed, maybe more. Liam heard no soldiers, no gunshots, only the slow drip of water and the beat of his heart. He looked deeper into the cave, curious. There was something. A light, faint and blue. He followed it, step by step. Deeper underground, the air grew colder. The walls smoother, almost like metal. And then he saw it. A door, not made by nature, but alien tech. It opened with a low hiss when he touched it. And beyond it, a small room, glowing softly. In the center of the room was a cage. And inside the cage was a girl. She was about his age, or maybe a bit older. Her skin was pale lavender, her hair long and silver. She sat with her back against the wall. Arms wrapped around her legs, chains held her ankles and wrists. Glowing faintly with red light, she didn't move. She didn't look at him. Liam froze, unsure if she was real. He took a slow step forward, then another. The girl finally lifted her head. Her eyes were large, shining with a strange light, deep blue, almost glowing. She stared at him, not with fear, not with anger, but curiosity. "You're not supposed to be here," she whispered, her voice calm but soft like wind through leaves. I got lost," Liam said, his voice shaking. "Who are you?" She smiled, but it was sad. "I don't have a name anymore." She said, "They took it when they put me here." Liam stepped closer, gripping the bars of her cage. "Why are you locked up?" he asked. "Did you do something wrong?" She shook her head slowly. "No, I was born different," she said. "And different things scare powerful people." Liam didn't understand fully, but he could see the pain in her face. He noticed scars on her arms, bruises on her ankles where the cuffs dug into her skin. She looked so weak, but her eyes still held strength, like she hadn't given up, not yet. "I can help you," Liam said quickly. "I can tell my people. Get you out." She leaned forward just a little. "No, not now," she said. "You're still too young." Liam blinked, confused. "What do you mean?" She looked deep into his eyes and said something he would never forget. "Leave this place, grow stronger, become the man you're meant to be. Then come back for me." Liam stood frozen. His heart was beating so loud it drowned out everything else. He didn't know why he believed her, but he did. Suddenly, a sound echoed behind him, footsteps. Guards were coming. The girl's eyes widened, and she whispered quickly, "Go now." Liam didn't want to leave, but he had no choice. He ran back through the tunnel, back through the cave, and into the night. He didn't stop until he reached a rescue ship the next morning. But even as he flew away from Zakara, he couldn't forget the girl in the cell. He didn't even know her name. But he remembered her voice, her eyes, and her words. "Come back when you're ready." And Liam swore to himself, one day he would return. Not as a scared boy, but as the one who could set her free. Liam never forgot the alien girl in the cell, even after he returned safely to Earth. Her glowing blue eyes stayed in his dreams. Every night, he would hear her soft voice whisper, "Come back when you're ready." And every time he would wake up with a deep ache in his heart. People around him moved on. They thought his story was just the imagination of a scared boy. His teachers ignored it. The military laughed. And even his parents said he must have been hallucinating. But Liam knew what he saw was real. He couldn't go back, not yet. The alien planet, Zakara, had been sealed off by intergalactic authorities. They called it a Level 9 threat zone. No civilians, no cameras, no rescue missions. But Liam didn't give up. He trained his body, learned alien languages, studied medicine and engineering, while others lived normal lives. Liam prepared for one mission, to go back for her. Years passed. Liam grew stronger, taller, sharper. He joined the Interstellar Corps at 18, not to fight wars, but to explore, to understand. He picked missions near the border systems, hoping to find someone, anyone, who had heard of the prison on Zakara, but it was like the place never existed. No maps showed it, no records mentioned it. Even black market smugglers had no clue what he was talking about. Sometimes he doubted himself. Maybe they were right. Maybe he really was just a frightened boy who dreamed up a glowing girl in chains. But then, something happened. It was a cold night on Station 42. A dirty outpost filled with broken robots and criminals pretending to be traitors. Liam sat alone. In a corner, sipping a bitter drink. His mission failed again. He was about to leave when a stranger sat beside him. The figure was covered in a dark cloak, face hidden beneath a hood. "You're the one asking about Zakara," the voice rasped. Liam froze, his hand dropping the glass. "Who are you?" he asked, voice low and cautious. The stranger slid a small holochip across the table. "No questions," they said. "She's still alive." Liam grabbed the chip, but when he looked up, the stranger was gone, disappeared into the shadows. Like a ghost, back in his ship, Liam played the chip. A single image appeared, grainy and dark, but it was her. The same glowing blue eyes, the same silver hair, still chained, still alive. His hands trembled as he stared at the screen. She hadn't aged much. Her kind must age slowly. But time had left marks on her face, quiet sadness and endless waiting. Liam didn't hesitate. He set course for the Forbidden Zone. He forged new clearance codes, hacked security maps, and avoided patrols. This time, he wasn't running away, he was coming back. The journey was dangerous. He had to fly through electric storms, dodge bounty hunters, and sleep only 2 hours a day. But the fire in his chest kept him going. He reached the edges of Zakara's orbit. The planet looked the same, dark, toxic, and abandoned. But Liam saw something he hadn't seen as a boy. A strange ring of satellites watching, guarding. Whatever they were hiding, they didn't want the galaxy to know. He found an old mining crater, deep and hidden from scans. He landed his ship in the shadows, covered it with camo-tech, and stepped onto the surface. His boots sank into ash and cracked stone, but every step brought back memories. Running, hiding, hearing her voice, seeing her chained behind glowing red bars. He carried gear this time, a plasma cutter, stealth shield, food, medicine, and a map drawn from memory. It had been 5 years, but he remembered every twist, every slope, every rock, because you don't forget the path that leads to someone who waited for you. He reached the cave. It looked smaller now, maybe because he was no longer a kid. He went inside slowly, heart pounding louder with each step. The alien tech door still stood at the end of the tunnel, but it looked different, worn, cracked, almost broken. He touched it, and it didn't open. Instead, a spark of red light shot through it. Defense system still active. Liam took a breath, then pulled out his cutter. It took hours. The cave echoed with hissing heat and burning metal, but finally the door gave in. With a groan and slid open, smoke filled the air as Liam stepped into the chamber. And there she was, still in the same place, still chained. But this time, she didn't move. Her head was lowered, her body thin and fragile. She looked almost lifeless. Liam rushed to her, his voice breaking. Hey, it's me, I'm back." No answer. He checked her pulse, faint, but there, she was alive, barely. Liam knelt down beside her. "I'm not a boy anymore," he whispered. "I kept my promise. I came back for you." And slowly, her fingers switched. Her lips parted, and a whisper escaped. "Liam." Liam held her hand tightly. It felt cold, too cold, like she had been frozen from the inside. Her skin was pale and soft, but her body was trembling. Her eyes opened only for a second before closing again. "She's alive," Liam whispered to himself. "But she's dying." He pulled out the emergency med kit from his backpack. Inside were injections, thermal packs, and oxygen gel. He applied the healing serum to her neck and chest, watching as her skin glowed slightly under the liquid. Then he wrapped her in a heat blanket and placed a portable oxygen mask on her face. She still didn't speak, but her breathing became steady. The girl who once told him to return had waited all this time in chains, barely surviving. Liam looked around the room. The cage was old, rusted now, but still powered. The red lights around her wrists and ankles glowed faintly alien restraint tech. He pulled out a signal scanner and connected it to the cuffs. The device blinked, then sparked. No access. The screen read. Liam cursed under his breath. He needed to break her out, but the lock was coded to her DNA, a system designed to trap only her species. Then he remembered something. 5 years ago, she had whispered one strange thing. "You're the only one who can free me." At the time, he thought it was just poetic, just something emotional. But what if it was true? Liam placed his hand on the glowing cuffs. He felt a strange pulse, a soft energy moving between her and the metal. It wasn't tech alone, it was something biological, almost psychic. He closed his eyes and focused. "I came back," he whispered again. "I never stopped thinking about you." Suddenly, the cuffs glowed brighter. Then click, one of them unlocked and fell to the ground. His eyes widened in shock. He reached for the others, placing both hands around her ankles. The red glow turned white, then faded completely. Each cuff released with a faint hiss and dropped. She was free, but she was still unconscious. Liam picked her up in his arms. She was lighter than he expected, like a feather wrapped in pain. He moved quickly back through the hallway, watching every corner, every dark crack in the stone. He didn't know who was watching, or if anyone was still here, but he felt like eyes were on him. Outside the cave, the ash winds had grown stronger. A storm was forming. He wrapped her tighter in the heat blanket and pushed forward, his boots sinking into the rough ground. Every gust of wind hit his face like a slap, but he didn't stop. In the distance, his hidden ship waited inside the crater. Just a few more minutes, he told himself. Just hold on. But then, a high-pitched sound echoed through the air. Liam froze. That sound, he had heard it before. Years ago, it was the sound of a patrol drone. He turned his head and saw a glowing red light floating above the ridge. It had found him, and it was not alone. 2 more lights appeared, then 4. The drones hovered silently, scanning the area. They didn't attack yet, but they would soon. Liam ran. He used the rocks as cover, leaping over broken stone, dodging thorns and holes. Behind him, the drones began to hum louder. A warning. He slid down the last slope, reaching his ship. The hatch opened with a beep, and he jumped inside. Still holding the girl close, he laid her on the medical bed and rushed to the pilot's seat. The drones appeared over the crater, and now they were charging their weapons. Liam pressed the launch button. The engines roared. Fire exploded beneath the ship. Rocks flew in every direction as the vessel lifted off the ground. The drones fired, but missed by inches. Liam pulled the ship higher, through the clouds, through the burning red skies of Zakara. The moment he passed orbit, the ship shook violently. A signal had been triggered. He checked the scanner. Multiple unknown ships were now moving toward him. "They know she's free," he said aloud. "They know she's awake." He looked back at her. She was still sleeping, but no longer trembling. Her skin looked warmer, her face more peaceful. Whatever power was inside her, it was starting to return. He whispered to her gently, "I don't know what you are, or why they locked you up, but I'm going to find out." The ship jumped into hyperspace. Just before enemy craft could lock on, the stars blurred outside the window. Zakara disappeared behind them. Inside the quiet of the ship, Liam sat beside her, watching her breathe. After 5 years of searching, training, and almost dying. He had her back, but the real danger was only beginning. The ship drifted through hyperspace like a silent arrow. Liam sat in the dim light of the med bay, his hands resting gently on the edge of the bed. The alien girl, still unnamed, still mysterious, lay motionless under the silver heat blanket. She looked peaceful now, no longer shaking, no longer fading away. But Liam knew something inside her was changing. Every few minutes, her fingers would twitch. A spark of energy danced across her skin. Like soft lightning under the surface, her breathing was steady. But there was a strange rhythm in it, like two pulses. Not one. Liam checked her vitals, and the readings made no sense. She had 2 heart rates, overlapping and out of sync. Her body temperature was rising slowly, and her brain waves were spiking like wild waves. He frowned, thinking hard. Is she dreaming? He whispered to himself. Or remembering. He took a wet cloth and gently wiped the dust from her face. The scars on her wrists were fading, vanishing like they had never been. That wasn't normal healing. It was something else, something more. Suddenly, her lips moved. A whisper escaped her mouth, barely a sound. Liam. He leaned in. I'm here, he said softly, holding her hand. I came back. Her fingers tightened around his. Her eyes snapped open, bright blue, glowing and wide. She gasped like someone breaking free from deep water. Her back arched, and her body lit up in a soft pulse of silver light. Alarms on the ship began to beep. The lights flickered. Liam stepped back as the girl floated off the bed, her body no longer touching the sheets. She hovered in midair, eyes glowing like stars, her long silver hair flowing as if underwater. Energy crackled around her, forming shapes and patterns that Liam couldn't understand. He watched in awe, in fear, and in something else, wonder. Then, just as suddenly, the energy faded. Her body dropped gently back onto the bed. Her eyes stayed open. And this time, they focused on him. Liam, she said again. Louder now. He nodded, speechless. You really came back. He sat down beside her. You told me to, he said, trying to smile. I never forgot. She smiled softly, but there was pain in her eyes. You shouldn't have, she whispered. It's dangerous. I don't care, Liam said. You waited for me. I had to come. She closed her eyes for a moment, gathering strength. When she opened them again, her face looked older, wiser. I didn't just wait, she said. I kept something locked inside. Something they couldn't take. What is it? Liam asked, leaning closer. She looked around the ship and then met his eyes. I'm a gatekeeper, she said. The last of my kind, Liam blinked, confused. What does that mean? Our race, she explained slowly, was created to protect something ancient, something powerful. Inside my mind is a key, not to a door, but to knowledge, to energy, to something the galaxy fears. Liam sat back, shocked. They locked you away, because of what's inside you. She nodded, and because they couldn't control me. Liam felt anger rising in his chest. They tortured you, because you were different. They called me a weapon, she said, but all I ever wanted was to be free. And then, you came. He looked at her, unsure what to say. You gave me hope, she whispered. You were the only one who didn't look at me with fear. You were just a boy, but your heart was stronger than any soldier. Liam swallowed hard. I'm not a boy anymore, he said. And I'm not leaving you again. A tear slid down her cheek, but it glowed as it fell. I believe you, she said, but others won't. Suddenly, the ship's warning system lit up. Incoming ships detected. Liam rushed to the control room. 4 unknown crafts were trailing them fast, armed and closing in. They found us, he whispered. He looked at the girl, who had followed him quietly. What do we do? He asked. Can you fight them? She stared at the screen, her eyes narrowed. I'm not ready, she said. But I will be. She walked to the window and placed her hand on the glass. The space outside shimmered, stars bending slightly, like her presence disturbed the universe. Liam didn't understand it fully, But he knew one thing. She wasn't a prisoner anymore. She was waking up, and whatever was coming was only the beginning. Liam's ship was not made for battle. It was a scout vessel, fast and quiet, but weak in armor. The 4 enemy crafts closing in weren't scouts, they were hunters. As the red warning lights flashed across the cockpit, Liam tightened his grip. On the controls, he glanced back at her, the alien girl who now stood in silence near the rear of the ship. Her eyes were glowing brighter than before. But she didn't panic, she was calm, still. Like someone waiting for something they already knew would happen. "They're coming to take you again," Liam said quietly. She nodded slowly. "They fear what I carry," she whispered. "But they don't understand it. What is it?" Liam asked. She looked at him with tired, ancient eyes. "It's not just power," she said. "It's memory, knowledge, and the blueprint to something they lost long ago. They locked it inside me when I was born, then feared what I might become." The ship shook as a warning shot grazed the side. "We don't have much time," Liam said. "If you have something that can help us, use it." She closed her eyes, and the ship went quiet. The lights dimmed. The engines hummed softer. Even the alarms paused for a second. Then her body rose a few inches from the floor. Her hands spread out, and soft white light poured from her fingers. Symbols began to float in the air, ancient, beautiful, glowing like stars. Liam stared, amazed. "What are you doing?" he asked. "I'm opening the gate," she said, her voice echoing with layers like more than one person was speaking at once. Not a gate made of steel, but of thought. Outside the ship, the space around them rippled like water. The enemy ships slowed, their scanners flashing with arrow lights. One of them launched a missile, but it never reached. A shield formed around Liam's ship, made of nothing but light and sound. The missile hit it and vanished without a sound. Liam looked at the girl, stunned. She was shaking now, sweat running down her face. But she didn't stop. Suddenly, a memory surfaced in Liam's mind, her voice. "From 5 years ago, you're the only one who can free me." It made sense now, not just physically, but mentally. Her power was tied to emotion, to connection, and somehow their bond had become the key. "Do you trust me?" he asked her. She nodded without hesitation. "Then give it all to me," Liam said, stepping closer. "Whatever you've been holding back, share it." She hesitated. "It will hurt." She warned, "It's too much for one mind." "I don't care," he said. "I didn't come this far to let you carry this alone." She reached out and placed her glowing hand on his forehead. A shock went through his body. Liam's eyes widened as a flood of images. Thoughts, voices, and memories rushed into him. He saw her past. The day she was taken from her parents. The scientists who whispered behind glass walls. The endless pain of isolation. And the day she saw a teenage human boy step into her cell. Him. Tears rolled down Liam's cheeks. But he didn't pull away. He saw galaxies collapse. Wars fought over what she carried. Worlds begging for mercy, and others burning out of fear. All locked inside her. All buried behind a fragile, gentle face. Then, the connection broke. Liam gasped, falling to his knees. She caught him, her hands warm against his skin. "You're stronger than I thought," she whispered, smiling softly. Outside, the hunter ships began to retreat. Their systems couldn't understand the shield, couldn't lock on. One ship exploded suddenly, without warning. The rest vanished into hyperspace. The danger was over for. Now Liam stood slowly, still dizzy but awake. "What was that?" he asked. "I didn't attack them," she said quietly. "I showed them what I carry, what they fear." And their minds broke. Liam stared at her. "You're not a weapon," he said. "You're a mirror. They see their own fear inside you." She nodded. "But you saw something else." He smiled weakly. "I saw a girl who waited too long to be free." She touched his arm gently. "Now I want to see what freedom feels like." Liam looked out the window. Stars stretched across the darkness, endless and full of promise. He had no map, no plan. But he knew one thing: he wouldn't run anymore. Wherever she went, he would go too. And whatever she faced, he would face it with her. The stars outside the ship blurred into calm lines of light as the vessel cruised through hyperspace. Liam sat quietly in the pilot's seat, his hands still shaking slightly. What he had seen inside her mind could not be forgotten. It was too deep, too powerful, and too real, but he didn't regret it. He had asked for the truth, and she had given it to him. Behind him, she stood like a figure carved from starlight. No longer weak, no longer silent, she was healing fast. But with that healing came something dangerous. The shield you used, Liam said carefully. It was too strong, she nodded slowly. They will come again, she whispered. But next time, they won't send drones. They'll send destroyers. Liam turned to face her. What do they want? He asked. Why now? She walked closer, her bare feet silent on the steel floor. The moment I unlocked the gate, she said, a signal was released. They know I've awakened fully. They know I'm no longer in chains. Liam felt a chill run down his spine. So, what do we do? He asked. Run? She looked at him with serious eyes. Running will only delay it. She said, but we need time. That was the one thing they didn't have. Suddenly, the ship jolted hard. Red lights flashed across the control panel. Gravity distortion detected. Hyperlane collapse in progress. Liam jumped to the controls. We're being pulled out of hyperspace, he shouted. He looked at her, but she was already moving. The stars outside twisted into smoke and vanished. The ship dropped into normal space, spinning slightly. Alarms screamed. Liam stabilized the vessel, but what he saw ahead made his blood freeze. An alien cruiser hovered in space, a giant ship, covered in dark armor and glowing red runes. It was not alone. Two smaller escort ships floated nearby, aiming weapons at Liam's ship. They were waiting for us, Liam said through clenched teeth. She placed her hand on his shoulder. They can't take me alive, she whispered. No, Liam said, turning to her. You don't have to run anymore. He stood and walked to the weapons bay. The ship only had 2 pulse cannons and a shield booster, not enough to win, but maybe enough to survive. You don't have to fight, she said behind him. You've already done more than anyone else ever did. I didn't come here to give up, Liam said, loading the power cells. If we go down fighting. She watched him for a moment, then smiled. Very well, she said softly. Then I will fight too. She closed her eyes, and her body lit up again. Energy flowed from her hands into the ship itself. The lights on the dashboard changed, glowing brighter, pulsing with life. The engines hummed with new power. The shield meter rose beyond normal levels. What did you do? Liam asked, surprised. I became part of the ship, she replied. We're connected now, outside. The alien cruiser charged its main cannon. Liam grabbed the controls. Hold on, he shouted. The first shot blasted across space barely missing them. Liam rolled the ship to the side, dipping below one of the escorts. He fired both cannons. One shot hit, the other missed, but it was enough to cause confusion. The escort scattered, unsure of how the small scout ship was moving so fast. Inside, she sat with eyes closed, directly channeling her energy into the systems. Her skin glowed silver. Her hair floated in the air like it was alive. Liam moved like a dancer through space, dodging, firing, spinning. He hit one escort's engine. It burst into flames and spiraled away, but the second one hit back. A bolt of plasma slammed into the rear thruster. The ship shook violently. Sparks flew. Liam groaned, struggling to stay upright. We can't take another hit like that, he muttered. She opened her eyes, and for a moment, he saw something terrifying. Not fear but rage. Pure, burning rage. Her body lifted from the floor, light pulsing from her chest. No more running, she said, her voice echoing with strange power. She raised both hands, palms facing outward toward the main screen. Outside, a wave of silver light exploded from the ship. The alien cruiser's shields shattered like glass. Systems on their side sparked and died. The last escort ship spun away. Powerless. Then everything went still. The enemy ships floated dead in space. Liam turned to her. She collapsed into his arms, breathing hard, her body glowing faintly. He held her close, shocked but amazed. "You saved us," he whispered. She opened one eye and smiled weakly. "No," she said. "We saved each other." Liam looked out the window. The wreckage of the enemy fleet drifted in silence. For the first time in years, the stars around them looked peaceful, but deep in his heart, Liam knew this wasn't the end. It was just the first battle. Others would come, stronger, smarter, more prepared. But now, so were they. Liam sat beside her in the quiet of the ship. Her body rested gently against his shoulder, wrapped in a heat blanket. She was breathing slowly. Her energy almost drained, but her face held peace, the kind he had never seen before. The stars outside glowed bright, soft, and endless, for the first time since she had awakened. There was no enemy ship, no alarm, no danger, just silence. "You didn't have to do that," Liam whispered. Brushing a silver strand of her hair from her face, she smiled faintly. "I wanted to," she said, voice weak but warm. "I've waited for so long to feel like I was more than a prisoner." He tightened his hold around her shoulders. "You're not a prisoner anymore," he said. "You're free." She looked up at him with soft glowing eyes. "No, Liam," she whispered. "I'm free. Because of you." He didn't reply right away. There were so many words inside him, but none felt strong enough. Instead, he looked into her eyes and let the silence speak for him. Suddenly, a soft chime echoed from the ship's dashboard. Liam stood up and walked to the front, checking the signal. His eyes widened. "It's a message," he said, "from a royal fleet non-hostile." She sat up slowly, surprise in her expression. "Royal fleet?" Liam nodded. "The encryption is ancient," he said, "but it's from your people. They're looking for you." Her eyes filled with something that looked like fear, but deeper, like a pain returning from the past. "I didn't think any of them survived," she said quietly. "They abandoned me." He looked at her gently. "Maybe they're not the same anymore." She hesitated, then nodded. "Let's see what they want," she said, her voice steady. Liam opened the come line. A hologram appeared, an alien figure, tall, graceful, with markings that glowed the same blue as hers. The figure bowed deeply. "Gatekeeper." The voice said, "We've searched for you across the stars. We felt your awakening." She stood slowly, walking to the front of the ship. "I am not the same girl you left behind," she said firmly. "I don't belong to your council anymore." The figure bowed again. "You belong to no one," they said. "But we do not come to take, we come to offer a place, a future, a family." She blinked, her lips trembling just slightly. For years, she had believed she was alone. For years, she thought her people had erased her from memory. But here they were, reaching out again. She turned to Liam. "What do you think?" she asked. Liam smiled. "I think you should decide," he said. "No one else." She looked back at the hologram. "I will come," she said. "But not alone." She reached for Liam's hand and pulled him gently beside her. "This is Liam," she said, her voice proud. "He's the one who returned for me." The alien figure looked at Liam, then gave a deep, respectful bow. "Then he is welcome," they said. "Anyone you trust is family to us." The message ended, and the ship changed course. The coordinates of the royal fleet guided their path. Soon, the stars around them would lead to a new world. Later, as they rested in the crew quarters, she lay beside him. The silver lights in her hair glowed gently. Liam looked over and whispered, "I never asked your name." She smiled and whispered back, "It's Aries." He repeated it softly, like it was a gift. "Aries. I wanted you to know it when I was ready," she said. "And now I am." They held hands in the quiet. No fear, no chains, no running. The boy who once stumbled into a cave was now a man who saved a galaxy's secret. The girl who was once locked away in darkness was now free and no longer alone. As the ship entered the space of her people, Ares looked at him one more time and said softly, "I told you to return when you were ready, and you did," Liam smiled. "And now what?" She leaned close. "Now we begin," and with that, the stars welcomed them both, not as a lost girl and a wandering boy, but as two hearts who found each other in the void and changed everything.